In a small village on the banks of Gangas, there lived a poor fisherman named Harihar. His life was full of hardships, but he never backed down from his work. Every morning as the sun rose, Harihar would go out to catch fish in the Gangas with his old boat and broken net. He thought, maybe today's fish will change my fate. But like every day, he would get only a few small fish in his bag, which would barely feed his family. One day, when Harihar went into the deep water to catch fish, he felt something heavy in his net. He pulled the net, and his eyes opened wide with amazement. In the net was a large golden fish, whose shiny scales were dazzling in the sunlight. Harihar took the fish in his hands and was mesmerized by its beauty. As Harihar began to observe the fish carefully, the fish suddenly looked into his eyes and said, "Oh fisherman, release me back into the water. I will give you whatever you want in return." Harihar asked in surprise, "Can you speak? Who are you?" The fish said, "I am a magical fish. If you release me, I can fulfill your every wish. But remember, don't be greedy." Harihar was lost in thought. He had never seen anything like that. But then he thought, this fish can make me rich. I should release it. Finally, he released the fish into the cool waters of Gangas. The fish left saying, "Whenever you need me, just call my name." Harihar returned home, but he could not sleep. He thought about the magical fish all night. The next day, he went to his wife Lalita and told her everything. Lalita said eagerly, "If that fish is really magical, we must ask it for something. We are so poor. Our hut is falling apart, and we hardly have anything to eat." Harihar thought, "You are right. We must ask it for something." And he immediately went to the banks of the Gangas. Reaching there, he remembered the fish and called its name. "Oh magical fish, listen to me." Immediately the golden fish appeared from the water. It asked, "What do you want, fisherman?" Harihar said, "Our hut is very old and broken. Can you give us a new beautiful house?" The fish closed its eyes and said, "Your house will now turn into a beautiful mansion. Go, your wish has been fulfilled." And she disappeared in the water. Harihar rushed home and saw that his old hut had now turned into a beautiful house. Lalita cried out in joy, "It's a miracle. Our fortunes have changed." A few weeks passed, and Harihar and Lalita were living happily in their new home. But gradually, new desires began to rise in their hearts. Lalita said one day, "Now that we have such a beautiful home, we should also have some nice clothes and jewelry. We should look the richest in the village." Harihar replied, "You are right. We must ask the magical fish for one more wish." And he again reached the banks of the Gangas. Reaching there, he called the fish's name again. The golden fish came out of the water and asked, "What do you want this time, fisherman?" Harihar said hesitantly, "We don't have nice clothes and jewelry. Can you give us all of them?" The fish said, "Your wish has been fulfilled. Go home. You will get everything." And she went back into the water. When Harihar reached home, he saw a pile of new clothes and jewelry for him and Lalita. Lalita started dancing with joy and said, "Look, now we are the richest people in the village." After a few months, Harihar and Lalita's desire kept growing. They now craved even more things in their lives. Lalita said one day, "Now we don't want just houses and clothes. We want land, servants, and gold and silver too. After all, if we can be rich, why not be so?" Harihar said, "You have a point. We should ask the fish for all these things." And he went back to the bank of the Gangas. Reaching there, he called out the fish's name. The fish appeared and asked, "What do you want now, fisherman?" Harihar said, "We want to be rich. We want to have large lands, servants, and lots of gold and silver." The fish said softly, "Your wish will be fulfilled. But remember, don't be greedy." And she went back into the water. When Harihar reached home, he saw that they now had vast lands, servants, and lots of gold and silver. Lalita said happily, "Now we have truly become rich." Lalita and Harihar were now rich, but their greed was growing even more. Lalita said, "We have everything now, but we want more. Why don't we become king and queen? If that fish can fulfill so many of your wishes, this one can too." Harihar hesitated at first, but then thought, maybe we can really become king and queen. He went back to the bank of the Gangas and called the fish. The fish appeared and asked, "Are your wishes still unfulfilled?" Harihar said, "We want to become king and queen. We want a big palace, an army, and subjects." The fish said seriously, "Your wishes are growing too much, but still, this will be your last wish. After this, I will not be able to give you anything." And she disappeared into the water. Harihar returned home and saw that their house had now turned into a huge palace. They were dressed in king and queen. They had an army and subjects too. Lalita said proudly, "Now we are the most powerful." After some time, Lalita felt that something was still missing. She said, "We have got everything, but now we want immortality. If we become immortal, our rule will last forever." Harihar said, "But the fish said that it was our last wish. We should not ask for more." Lalita said, "Why not ask? If the fish is so powerful, it can give us immortality too." Harihar's wish prevailed over her advice, and he went back to the bank of the Gangas once again. He called the fish, but this time the fish took a longer time to come. When it came, its shine has faded. The fish said, "You promised me that you would not be greedy. This is your last time. What do you want from me now?" Harihar said, "We want to become immortal, so that our rule will last forever." The fish said sadly, "Your desires have become uncontrolled. I have already told you not to be greedy. Now whatever you have asked for will be taken back from you." And saying this, the fish closed its eyes for the last time and disappeared. As the fish disappeared, the walls of Harihar and Lalita's palace began to crumble. The gold and silver turned to ashes, and the servants disappeared. The entire palace collapsed, and they returned to their old hut. Lalita cried and said, "This is all because of our greed. We lost everything." Harihar also said sadly, "We lost everything we had. Now we understand how destructive greed can be." They returned to their old hut where they had started from. Harihar and Lalita learnt a lot from their past experiences. They now started living with contentment and simplicity. Harihar again picked up his old boat and net and started going fishing in the Ganga. They had now learned to be content with their little joys. Lalita said, "We have learned from our mistakes. Now we should be content with whatever we have in life." And thus, Lalita and Harihar again led their lives as normal, but this time with contentment and true happiness in their hearts. They had realized that real wealth lies not in external resources, but in the contentment of the heart.
If you like this story, then subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.